So the word of the day is tariffs. I've got, my stores are pretty evenly split, 50-50 on, we want to talk about the tariff-free inventory or the non-tariffed inventory. We want that all over all of our advertising. Or don't say tariffs to me, don't mention tariffs to me, don't speak about tariffs to me. I don't want to hear that word anymore. It's pretty evenly split down the middle, which is pretty much how it always is, I guess, in the car business. We've got 50% that want to follow whatever that path is and 50% that don't. Me personally, I don't think playing up our inventory that's tariff-free is a good play. I just don't. It's not a long play. It's a short game. And you don't win in this business by always playing the short game. That's kind of how I do it. How I think about it. Being reactive in the car business it's a recipe for disaster. You need to be responsive, but you don't need to be reactive. What I mean by that is announcing that your inventory is tariff-free and putting some kind of urgency on the vehicles you have on your lot, personally, I think is unnecessary. And the only thing it's going to motivate people to do is somebody who is thinking about who's in the buying cycle in the next 90 days, they might just push up their purchase. But you're not going to entice someone who's not in the market for a car to come buy a car because they're tariff-free now. And let's say you do actually encourage some people to buy, 45 days, 30 days sooner than they would, then what? Then you're sitting on tariffed inventory while everybody else around you, your competition, has non-tariffed inventory. You see where I'm going with this? Now your inventory is priced higher. So, I don't know. Me personally, if it were my dealership, I would just be business as usual. I mean, it is what it is. We've all been through, anybody who's been in this business for any amount of time, we all went through 2008, where it was 3 days of nobody buying cars. So we all went through that. We've all been through tough times in the car business. I really don't see how pushing non-tariffed inventory is a good long play. I don't think adding keywords to your search, which was also something that someone requested, that say non-tariffed inventory or tariff-free inventory, I don't think that's a good play. I think it's a very reactive approach to look at your current stock, in-day stock, 90-day stock or whatever. And everybody's sitting with pretty healthy inventories right now. Nobody's sitting with too much stock, too little stock. Well, except CDGR stores right now, they are sitting with very, two brand new 2023 still. But for the most part, there's not a lot of dealerships sitting with unhealthy levels of inventory. They're getting them down to, now, let's be honest, they are higher than we're used to, 100%, they're higher we used to. 45 day, 60 day usually was high. Now we're looking at 70 to 90 day on inventory because we were prepping for this situation. No matter, which way the tariff wind was blowing on this particular day, we were all kind of prepping for this situation. So nobody's sitting with lower inventory levels. Everybody's sitting with healthy inventory levels. So I don't think there's a need to push non-tariffed inventory, tariff-free, whatever you want to say, on anywhere else either. So I've got a couple of dealers who were talking about it on their social media posts. They were talking about tariff-free. Now, making light of it is one thing. I'm not talking about people who are making light of making jokes about it, getting a little bit of humor out of it. That's neither here nor there. I think that's awesome. I think that aligns with what your branding, what your message is making the best out of the situation. I just don't think there's any panic button that needs to be pressed on unloading the vehicles we have on our lot right now. So, and I've asked this question, okay, so we advertise tariff-free inventory, then what? Like, do you honestly think that's going to pull someone back into the market that wasn't interested in a car whatsoever, or pull someone into the market that wasn't interested in a car whatsoever? I don't think that's what that is going to do. I really don't. And like I said, it's going to pull people into the market maybe 45 days, 60 days sooner than maybe they thought. But, and the other side of this coin is, and I said that already, but the other side of this coin is, what I'm hearing is the salesmen in the showroom are pressing that urgency button. Oh, well, you better not buy now before, when you come back next time, this price will be higher. That's the equivalent of, well, when you come back to look at this car, it's not going to be here. I mean, it's just really sleazy shit. Like, I just don't like that. I think we need to be past that. I think growing up is definitely the right attitude to take here. Now, am I saying that you shouldn't try to sell with every effort you have someone who's on the showroom? Absolutely not. You should absolutely do that. You should absolutely turn that customer, have a manager involved, do all your due diligence and your steps to the sale that you normally do. What I am saying is, I don't think we need to press the panic button with the customer. Oh, you better buy this now, or the tariffs are going to be on this vehicle later. Because that's a lie. A vehicle that's sitting on your lot today isn't going to automatically get freaking tariffed because somebody blinked their eyes tomorrow. It's on your lot. It's your responsibility to sell it as a dealership. There is not going to be an extra tariff on it. So I'm seeing stuff that it just makes me shake my head, because it harkens back to, and then these are the same people that do this kind of shit. They're the same people that come back and go, well, I don't understand why people think car dealers are so sleazy. Because of this shit. Because of that. That's why they think they're sleazy. So don't be one of those guys. Don't be one of those guys that's trying to push the panic button and being so reactive to tariffs. Be responsive to tariffs, not reactive. What does that mean? Be responsive. Don't overprice your cars that are sitting on your lot just because they're sitting on your lot. Don't price them at a premium and just because they're sitting on their lot. So I have a lot of dealers saying this now, like, we're not getting a lot of people, we're not able to get a lot of people out of their cars. Like, we're struggling with, and we're just getting on the other side of that, actually, where people aren't as upside down. And I got asked this question, well, why do you think that is? Because 5 years ago was COVID, and even up into 3 years ago, inventory was limited. And so the sleazier car dealerships were charging a premium for their cars because the market would bear it. That was the justification, right? Well, you can't unbury someone out of a car regardless of what the market will bear. So if you're not going to do right by your customer on that one sale, don't expect them to come back and be able to get out from underneath the car that you buried them in. So I'm seeing a lot of that. And like I said, we're just getting to the other side of that. Hopefully now we're down the downward side of that, because for a long time it was, well, we can't get any trade-ins. Well, yeah, because we buried them in the car 2 years ago. Like, of course we can't get them out of it. So now we're at 3 years past when we had a really big inventory, 3.5. So hopefully now we're, like I said, we're getting on the other side of that, where we can start to bring in more trade-ins and start to get people out from underneath cars. But I really just shake my head when I hear dealerships charging premiums for vehicles, because that's what the market will bear. That's great. That's what the market will bear. And you're going to burn that one customer that one time, instead of banking on the fact that that customer could come back to you to buy 8 to 10 vehicles in their lifetime. You're going to bank on that one play. That's what I just don't understand. Don't bank on that one play. Do right by the customer every time, and you'll get 10 car sales out of one customer. Gross the hell out of them on one car, they'll never come back to you again. Once they realize what you've done, you just lost that customer and anybody who will listen for the rest of their life. I don't see that I don't see that as and maybe that's a very controversial, actually, I know it is, it's a controversial opinion, because it's always, oh, this is what the market will bear. This is what we should do because that's what the market will bear. That's great. That's what the market will bear. Tell you what I would rather do. I would rather sell the vehicle for a fair price, not $10,000 over MSRP or $5,000 over MSRP. I would rather sell the vehicle for a fair price that doesn't bury the customer 3.5 to 4 years from now, or we've made the finance contracts now where they're 7 to 9 years instead of 4 to 6 years. Now they're 7 to 9 years. So the trade cycle just got pushed out a little farther too. So instead of burying them in cars and then complaining about the fact that they're buried in cars, I don't know. I just, and maybe this is kind of a Jerry Maguire type statement, I just think we need to we're responsible for the attitude towards car dealerships, yet we're so upset about the attitude towards car dealerships, but we're the one who created that attitude towards car dealerships. So I just think the point of this whole thing is, let's not do what we did back in 2021, 2022, when inventory was slight, and just gross the shit out of everybody who walked in the door. And I just don't think that's the right decision. And I think that's really going to create a problem for our customers when they're coming back in 4 and 5, actually probably 6 and 7 years down the line. So just be thoughtful about how you're pricing your inventory and how you're treating the customer, and try to figure out a way to provide that level of customer service so that you're thinking about not just this car that they purchased today, but the next 7 or 8 other cars they might buy from you. And I think if we started thinking about it that way, I think that we could probably turn the tide and change the attitude towards the average car dealership. So, and again, I think this is kind of a Jerry Maguire type statement. If that's not what you want to do and you don't care and you're going to gross the crap out of everyone to make as much money as possible, hey, God bless, you do you. But this is kind of, if it were my store, how I would be running it. Not being reactive, paying attention and being responsive to it, aligning my messaging with what serves my community best, and how to be a part of that community in a way that is productive, instead of wondering why, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, that I don't have a whole lot of trade-ins, because and being able to look back and say, okay, I didn't bury people in cars, so that's not it. I guess that's just my point. All right. Anyway, happy selling.